Maya Anderson's laughter echoed through the small cafe, bringing a brief moment of joy to the otherwise mundane Monday morning. She had just spilled coffee on herself while trying to juggle her laptop, portfolio, and the steaming cup, a disaster that somehow struck her as hilarious rather than frustrating. The stranger at the next table had offered her a handful of napkins with a sympathetic smile, and now they were both laughing at her self-deprecating joke about her perpetual clumsiness. What Maya didn't notice was the man sitting alone in the corner, his eyes lingering on her bright smile. Sebastian Walker had been coming to this cafe every morning for the past week, always at the same time, always sitting at the same corner table, not because the coffee was exceptional, but because he had been captivated by the woman with the auburn hair who laughed so easily even at herself. "Thank you for the rescue," Maya told the kind stranger, dabbing at her navy blouse. "I swear I need a bib more than most toddlers." "Don't mention it," the woman replied, already returning to her book. Maya sighed and assessed the damage. The coffee had mostly splashed onto her sleeve, leaving a dark stain that would undoubtedly set in by the time she reached her interview. She had precisely 45 minutes to figure out a solution before meeting with the art director at Lambert Gallery, an opportunity she couldn't afford to mess up, especially after being laid off from her previous design position 3 months ago. Sebastian watched as she frantically typed something into her phone, likely searching for nearby clothing stores. He knew he should look away, return to the financial reports on his tablet, but there was something magnetic about her, the way her brow furrowed in concentration, how she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear with ink-stained fingers. As the CEO of Walker Innovations, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country, Sebastian was accustomed to people approaching him with business proposals, investment opportunities, or thinly veiled attempts at networking. What he wasn't accustomed to was this feeling, a pull towards someone who had no idea who he was, someone who saw right through him as if he were just another face in the crowd. And oddly, he liked it. Maya gathered her things, stuffing her portfolio into her oversized bag with a frustrated groan. There wasn't enough time to find a replacement blouse and still make it to the interview. She'd have to go as is and hope that her work would distract from her appearance. As she rushed toward the door, Sebastian made an impulsive decision. He stood up, intentionally placing himself in her path. "Excuse me," Maya said, trying to sidestep him. "I couldn't help but notice your situation," Sebastian said, his voice calm despite the unexpected nervousness he felt. "There's a boutique just around the corner. The owner is a friend of mine. I'm sure she could help you find something quickly." Maya hesitated, studying the tall stranger with suspicious eyes. He was impeccably dressed in what she recognized as an expensive suit, his dark hair neatly styled. But it was his eyes that caught her attention with laugh lines at the corners that suggested he smiled often. "That's nice of you, but I'm already running late for an interview," she replied, still edging toward the door. "It's literally a 2-minute walk," Sebastian pressed. "I promise it will be worth it. The gallery will understand a small delay if you arrive looking professional." Maya froze. "How did you know I was going to a gallery?" Sebastian mentally kicked himself. "I overheard you on the phone earlier," he lied smoothly. In truth, he had researched her after first seeing her in the cafe a week ago, an admission that would certainly come across as stalkerish rather than romantic. Still looking skeptical, Maya checked her watch. 2 minutes, you said?" 2 minutes, Sebastian confirmed with a reassuring smile. "I'm Sebastian, by the way." "Maya," she replied, not offering her hand since it was still sticky with coffee. "And if this is some weird kidnapping attempt, I should warn you that I have pepper spray and a black belt in karate." Sebastian laughed. "Neither of which is true, I'm guessing." "The pepper spray is," she admitted with a small smile. "Lead the way, Sebastian, but I'm starting my timer now." They walked briskly down the busy street, Sebastian navigating them through the morning crowd with ease. True to his word, within 2 minutes they stood before a small but elegant boutique with a minimalist display window. "Elise's," Maya read the name above the door. "It looks expensive." "It is," Sebastian acknowledged, "but consider it an investment in your future. A good first impression can be worth every penny." He opened the door for her, and a small bell announced their entrance. The boutique was empty except for a stylish older woman arranging a display of scarves. "Sebastian!" she exclaimed, her face lighting up. What a lovely surprise! Elise, we have a bit of an emergency, Sebastian explained, gesturing toward Maya's coffee-stained blouse. My friend has an important interview in about half an hour, and we need something to replace this. Maya noticed he used the word friend rather loosely, but didn't correct him. She was too busy taking in the beautiful garments surrounding them, each piece looking more expensive than her entire wardrobe. Say no more, Elise said, already appraising Maya with a professional eye. What's the interview for, dear? Assistant art director at Lambert Gallery, Maya replied, feeling increasingly self-conscious about her coffee stain. Perfect. I have just the thing. Creative but professional. Elise disappeared into the back of the shop, returning moments later with a simple but elegant emerald green silk blouse. This will complement your coloring beautifully. Try it on, changing room is right there. Maya hesitated, then looked at Sebastian. I appreciate the help, but I can't afford something from here. Before Sebastian could respond, Elise waved dismissively. Any friend of Sebastian's gets the special discount. Plus, I've been trying to move this particular piece its last season. Maya knew she was being humored, but decided not to argue. She needed the blouse, and she'd figure out how to pay for it after securing the job. She took the garment and headed to the changing room. Once she was out of earshot, Elise turned to Sebastian with a knowing smile. So, who is she? Just someone I've seen at the café, Sebastian admitted, keeping his voice low. She needed help. Elise replied skeptically. In all the years I've known you, Sebastian Walker, you've never once brought a woman to my shop, not even Vanessa, and you dated her for nearly a year. Sebastian shifted uncomfortably. It's not like that. Oh my God, this is perfect, Maya interrupted, emerging from the changing room. The emerald silk draped elegantly over her frame, making her auburn hair appear richer and her green eyes more vibrant. She had tucked it into her pencil skirt, transforming her entire look from frazzled job seeker to confident professional. Sebastian found himself momentarily speechless. You look stunning, dear, Elise said, guiding Maya to a full-length mirror. This is definitely your color. Maya admired her reflection, turning slightly to see how the fabric moved. It's beautiful. How much is it with your special discount? Elise named a figure that was still higher than Maya would typically spend on clothing, but reasonable enough that she could justify it given the circumstances. I'll take it, Maya decided, reaching for her wallet. Allow me, Sebastian said, stepping forward. Consider it my good deed for the day. Maya frowned. That's very generous, but I can't accept that. Why not? Because I don't know you. And I don't make a habit of letting strangers buy me clothing, she explained patiently, as if this should be obvious. It feels inappropriate. Sebastian respected her independence, but still wanted to help. How about this, take my business card? If you get the job, you can pay me back. If not, consider it a karmic investment in the universe. Maya studied him for a moment, then nodded. That seems fair, though I fully intend to pay you back regardless of the interview outcome. She turned to Elise. I'll wear it out, please. As Elise rang up the purchase, Sebastian handed Maya his business card. She glanced at it briefly before tucking it into her wallet, not giving it much attention in her rush. Thank you for your help, Maya said, checking her watch. I need to run, but I appreciate the rescue. Good luck with your interview, Sebastian replied, genuinely hoping she would succeed. Maybe I'll see you at the cafe again sometime? Maya offered a non-committal smile. Maybe. Thanks again, both of you. With that, she hurried out the door, leaving Sebastian watching her disappear into the crowd. She didn't really look at your card, did she? Elise observed, coming to stand beside him. No, Sebastian confirmed, a small smile playing at his lips. She has no idea who I am. And that's why you like her, Elise said knowingly. Sebastian didn't deny it. After years of people approaching him for his wealth or status, Maya's complete indifference to his identity was refreshing. She had judged him solely on his actions and seemed unimpressed even then. It was, he decided, a promising beginning. Maya arrived at Lambert Gallery with 5 minutes to spare, the emerald blouse giving her a confidence boost she desperately needed. The interview went surprisingly well. Her portfolio impressed the director, and they seemed to connect over shared artistic influences. By the time she left, Maya had a good feeling about her prospects. As she walked back to her apartment, she remembered the business card in her wallet. Curious about her mysterious benefactor, she pulled it out and finally read it properly. Sebastian Walker, CEO, Walker Innovations. Below, that was a phone number, email address, and the company logo, a stylized W that she immediately recognized. Walker Innovations was a major tech company valued at billions, which meant that the Sebastian she had met was not just some random businessman, but a legitimate millionaire, possibly even a billionaire. No way, Maya muttered to herself, stopping in the middle of the sidewalk. People brushed past her with annoyed glances, but she barely noticed. She quickly pulled out her phone and searched his name, finding numerous articles and photos that confirmed it was indeed the same man who had helped her that morning. Maya felt a conflicting rush of emotions, embarrassment at her initial suspicion of him, confusion about why someone like him would bother helping her, and a strange fluttering in her stomach as she recalled his kind eyes and genuine smile. She debated calling the number on the card, but decided against it. She would wait to hear about the job first. After all, she'd promised to pay him back only if she got it. That was their deal. What Maya didn't know was that Sebastian had already made a call of his own to Thomas Lambert, the owner of the gallery where she had interviewed. Sebastian and Thomas were not close friends, but they moved in the same social circles. And Sebastian had casually mentioned meeting a talented designer who was interviewing there. He was careful not to explicitly ask for any favors, but the implication that he had an interest in Maya's career was enough. In the world of business, such subtle endorsements carried weight. Sebastian told himself he was merely helping someone with obvious talent get a fair chance. But deep down, he knew his motives weren't entirely altruistic. He wanted to see Maya again, to learn more about the woman whose laugh had brightened his otherwise methodical mornings. And if that meant using his influence in small, harmless ways, well, was that really so wrong? 3 days later, Maya was arranging flowers in her tiny apartment when her phone rang. It was Lambert Gallery offering her the position, with a salary that was slightly higher than what had been initially discussed. Maya accepted immediately, too excited to question her good fortune. Her first instinct was to call her best friend Layla, who screamed with excitement at the news. Her second thought was of Sebastian Walker and their unusual agreement. After ending the call with Layla, Maya stared at Sebastian's business card for a long moment before typing out a text message. "Good news, I got the job. Now I owe you for a blouse. This is Maya Anderson from the Coffee Catastrophe." Sebastian was in the middle of a meeting when his phone vibrated with the message. Seeing her name on his screen made him smile unexpectedly, earning him a curious look from his CFO, who was in the middle of a budget presentation. "Continue, Alex," Sebastian said, composing himself. "I'm listening." But his thoughts kept drifting to Maya and how to respond to her message. Should he suggest meeting for coffee? Or would that seem too forward? By the time the meeting ended, Sebastian had mentally drafted and discarded a dozen replies. Finally, he settled on, "Congratulations, I knew you'd get it. How about we celebrate with coffee? I promise not to sit anywhere you might spill on yourself this time." Maya replied almost immediately, "Very funny. Coffee sounds good, but I insist on paying for both the coffee and repaying you for the blouse." They arranged to meet at the same café the following morning. Sebastian arrived early, deliberately choosing a different table than his usual corner spot to avoid revealing his regular presence there. When Maya walked in wearing the emerald blouse, he noted with satisfaction he waved her over. "Congratulations again on the job," Sebastian said as she sat down across from him. "When do you start?" "Monday," Maya replied, her eyes bright with excitement. "I still can't believe they chose me. The competition was fierce." "I'm not surprised they chose you," Sebastian said truthfully. "I'm sure your portfolio was impressive." Maya tilted her head, studying him. "So, Walker Innovations, huh? You didn't mention you were kind of a big deal." Sebastian shrugged. "It didn't seem relevant at the time." "Well, it makes your insistence on helping a complete stranger make more sense," Maya said. "I'm guessing random acts of kindness are your billionaire hobby, like how some people collect stamps." "You collect good deeds?" The teasing tone in her voice made Sebastian laugh. "I'm not a billionaire," he corrected her. "Just a humble millionaire trying to make his way in this cruel world." Maya snorted. "Oh, poor you. How do you manage?" Their banter continued through 2 cups of coffee, and Sebastian found himself more drawn to her with each passing minute. She was sharp, funny, and completely unimpressed by his wealth, asking instead about his work, what he enjoyed about it, and how he had started his company. In turn, he learned about her passion for design, her struggle to find steady work in a competitive field, and her dreams of eventually creating her own line of home goods. "So, how much do I owe you for the blouse?" Maya asked eventually, reaching for her wallet. Sebastian waved her off. "Consider it a gift." "No way," Maya insisted. "We had a deal. I got the job, I pay you back." Sebastian could see she wouldn't budge on this. "All right, how about this? Instead of paying me back directly, donate the amount to the art program at the children's hospital. They're always looking for funding for supplies." Maya considered this. "I can do that, but I'm still buying the coffee today." "Deal," Sebastian agreed, watching as she went to the counter to pay. As Maya waited for their receipt, Sebastian found himself at a crossroads. Their coffee was coming to an end, and he wasn't ready to say goodbye. Taking a chance, he decided to be direct when she returned to the table. "Maya, I've really enjoyed talking with you," he said as she sat back down. "Would you like to have dinner sometime? Maybe this weekend?" Maya looked surprised, then thoughtful. "Are you asking me on a date, Sebastian Walker?" "Yes," he said simply. "I am?" Maya studied him for a moment, her expression unreadable. "Why?" The question caught him off guard. "What do you mean?" "I mean, she gestured vaguely at him. "You. And I'm just a struggling designer who spills coffee on herself and can barely afford rent in this city. Don't you usually date models or socialites or something?" Sebastian couldn't help but laugh. "I don't know what usually means in this context. I date people I find interesting and enjoyable to be around. Right now, that's you." Maya still looked skeptical. "Look, I'm not going to pretend the wealth disparity doesn't exist," Sebastian continued. "But I'm asking for dinner, not a merger. If you're not interested, that's completely fine. But don't turn me down because you think I should be dating someone else." Maya's expression softened. "When you put it that way, dinner sounds nice, but somewhere normal, okay? No restaurants where the menu doesn't have prices." "Deal," Sebastian agreed with a smile. "Friday at 7, I'll text you the details." "Friday at 7, Maya confirmed, getting up to leave. "I should get going. I have a million things to prepare before starting the new job." Sebastian stood as well. "Of course. Good luck with everything." "Thanks again for your help," Maya said sincerely. "With the blouse and everything." As she left the cafe, Sebastian sat back down, unable to wipe the smile from his face. For the first time in years, he felt a genuine excitement about getting to know someone new, someone who saw him as just Sebastian, not the CEO of Walker Innovations. Little did he know that Maya was experiencing a similar thrill as she walked home. Despite her initial reservations, there was something about Sebastian that felt different from the other men she'd dated. It wasn't his wealth or status, in fact. Those things made her more cautious, not less. It was his genuine interest in her work, his quick wit, and the way he seemed to really listen when she spoke. By Friday, Maya had already completed her first week at Lambert Gallery, and the experience had exceeded her expectations. The team was welcoming, the work was challenging in all the right ways, and she felt like she had finally found her professional home. Her good mood carried her through the day, and by the time she was getting ready for her date with Sebastian, she was bubbling with positive energy. Sebastian had chosen a small Italian restaurant in the West Village, well regarded for its food, but unpretentious in its atmosphere. When Maya arrived, he was already waiting at a corner table. Dressed more casually than she had seen him before, in dark jeans and a gray sweater that made his blue eyes appear even more vivid. "You look beautiful," Sebastian said as she approached, taking in her simple black dress and the emerald blouse she had repurposed as a light jacket. "Thanks," Maya replied, sitting down across from him. "This place is lovely." "I thought you'd like it. They make the best risotto in the city," Sebastian said, pouring her a glass of water from the carafe on the table. "How was your first week at the gallery?" As Maya launched into stories about her new job, Sebastian found himself captivated not just by what she was saying, but how she said it with animated gestures and expressive eyes that reflected her excitement. The waiter came and went, delivering bread and taking their orders. But neither Maya nor Sebastian noticed the time passing as their conversations flowed effortlessly from work to childhood memories to favorite books and films. "Wait, you've never seen The Princess Bride?" Sebastian asked incredulously after Maya mentioned not getting a reference he'd made. "Is that the one with the pirates?" Maya asked vaguely. "That's it, I'm canceling dessert." "We need to go watch it immediately," Sebastian declared with mock seriousness. Maya laughed. "I've been meaning to see it. It's just never happened." "This is a critical gap in your cultural education," Sebastian insisted. "It's practically my duty to humanity to ensure you experience this film." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Are you suggesting we go watch a movie right now?" "Why not?" Sebastian challenged. "My apartment is nearby, and I definitely own a copy, unless you'd rather not." Maya considered the invitation. Normally, she wouldn't go to a man's apartment on a first date, but something about Sebastian made her trust him. Plus, she was genuinely having a wonderful time and wasn't ready for the evening to end. "All right," she decided, but only because it sounds like a cinematic emergency. Sebastian grinned, signaling for the check. "It absolutely is. Your life will be divided into before and after The Princess Bride. Trust me on this." After Sebastian paid for dinner, Maya had tried to split it, but he insisted since he had chosen the restaurant, they walked the few blocks to his apartment building. Maya had expected something ostentatious, but the building, while clearly upscale, was tastefully understated with a discreet doorman who greeted Sebastian by name. Sebastian's apartment occupied the entire top floor, and when the elevator doors opened directly into his foyer, Maya couldn't contain a small gasp. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city skyline, bathed in the golden glow of sunset. The space was open and modern, with comfortable-looking furniture and walls adorned with what appeared to be original artwork. "This is... wow," Maya managed, walking toward the windows. "The view sold me on the place," Sebastian admitted, coming to stand beside her. "I never get tired of it." Maya turned to examine one of the paintings, an abstract piece with bold colors that somehow captured the energy of the city below. "This is incredible. Who's the artist?" "A friend of mine from college," Sebastian replied. "She's getting quite popular now, but this was from her early work." Maya moved from piece to piece, recognizing several names that were well established in the art world. "You have amazing taste." "I just know what I like," Sebastian said simply. "Would you like something to drink before the movie? Wine, coffee, water?" "Water is fine, thanks," Maya replied, still taking in her surroundings. Sebastian disappeared into the kitchen, returning with 2 glasses of water. "The theater room is this way," he said, leading her down a hallway. "Theater room," Maya repeated with a laugh. "Of course you have a theater room." The room in question was smaller than she'd expected, with a large screen on one wall and a comfortable-looking sectional sofa facing it. It felt cozy rather than ostentatious. "Make yourself comfortable," Sebastian said, fiddling with a control panel by the door. "I'll set everything up." Maya sank into the sofa, kicking off her shoes and tucking her legs beneath her. As promised, Sebastian queued up The Princess Bride and joined her on the sofa, leaving a respectful distance between them. As the movie began, Maya found herself drawn into the story, laughing at the humor and becoming invested in the characters. Somewhere around the halfway point, she realized she had unconsciously shifted closer to Sebastian, and his arm was now resting comfortably around her shoulders. When the credits finally rolled, Maya turned to him with a smile. "Okay, you were right. That was delightful." "I told you," Sebastian said, looking pleased. "It's a perfect film." "Thank you for introducing me to it," Maya said sincerely. "And for dinner. I had a wonderful time." "So did I," Sebastian replied, his eyes meeting hers. There was a moment of charged silence, and Maya found herself leaning slightly toward him. Sebastian closed the remaining distance, his lips meeting hers in a gentle kiss that sent unexpected warmth spreading through her chest. When they pulled apart, Maya's cheeks were flushed, and Sebastian was looking at her with a mixture of surprise and delight, as if he hadn't expected the kiss to affect him so strongly. "I should probably get going," Maya said reluctantly, glancing at her watch. "It's getting late." Sebastian nodded, though he was clearly disappointed. "I'll call you a car." "I can take the subway," Maya protested. "At this hour? Please let me arrange a car. I'd drive you myself, but I've had wine with dinner, Sebastian insisted. Maya relented, and within minutes, Sebastian was escorting her downstairs to a waiting car service. Before she got in, he took her hand. "Can I see you again?" he asked, his voice betraying a vulnerability she hadn't expected. Maya smiled. "I'd like that. Tomorrow? There's an exhibition opening at a small gallery in Soho that I think you'd enjoy." "Trying to impress the new assistant art director?" Maya teased. "Trying to spend more time with the woman I can't stop thinking about," Sebastian corrected her, his honesty catching them both by surprise. Maya felt a flutter in her chest at his words. "Tomorrow sounds perfect." With another quick kiss, Maya slipped into the car, watching Sebastian through the window as they drove away. Her mind was buzzing with thoughts and emotions, chief among them the realization that this could be the beginning of something special. The exhibition opening the next evening marked the beginning of a whirlwind romance. Over the following weeks, Sebastian and Maya fell into an easy rhythm of gallery visits. Quiet dinners, movie nights, and long walks through the city. Sebastian introduced Maya to his world gradually, careful not to overwhelm her with the more extravagant aspects of his lifestyle. In turn, Maya showed Sebastian her favorite spots in the city-hidden bookstores, quirky cafes, and street art that most people walked past without noticing. What struck Maya most about their time together was how normal it felt. Despite Sebastian's wealth and status, when they were alone, he was just a man who laughed at her jokes, listened intently to her ideas, and looked at her as if she were the most fascinating person he'd ever met. For Sebastian, being with Maya was like breathing fresh air after years in a stuffy room. She challenged him, didn't defer to him automatically, and seemed genuinely uninterested in his money or connections. Instead, she wanted to know his thoughts on everything from politics to pizza toppings, treating his opinions with the same consideration she would give anyone else's. 1 month into their relationship, Maya invited Sebastian to her apartment for the first time. She had been hesitant, knowing her small one-bedroom in Astoria would be a stark contrast to his luxurious penthouse. But Sebastian had insisted he wanted to see where she lived, to understand all parts of her life. "It's not much," Maya warned as she unlocked her door, "but it's home." Sebastian followed her inside, taking in the compact space. What the apartment lacked in size, it made up for in character. Every surface reflected Maya's artistic sensibility, from the gallery wall of eclectic artwork to the mismatched vintage furniture she had lovingly restored. Plants thrived on every available surface, giving the space a lush, vibrant feel. "I love it," Sebastian said sincerely, running his hand along a bookshelf filled with art books and novels. "It's so you." Maya relaxed, pleased by his reaction. "I've been here for 3 years. The rent's reasonable, and I have great neighbors." "Is this your work?" Sebastian asked, stopping before a series of framed illustrations hanging above her desk. "Yes," Maya admitted, coming to stand beside him. "Just some personal projects." Sebastian studied the detailed pen and ink drawings' intricate cityscapes that somehow captured both the architecture and the energy of New York. "These are extraordinary, Maya. You should be showing these." Maya shrugged. "Maybe someday. Right now, I'm focused on building my career at the gallery." "How's that going, by the way?" Sebastian asked, turning to face her. "You haven't mentioned work much lately." "It's going well," Maya replied, moving toward the kitchen to pour them both glasses of wine. Mr. Lambert has been giving me more responsibility. I'm curating a small exhibition of emerging artists next month." "That's fantastic," Sebastian said, accepting the glass she offered him. "I'm proud of you." Maya smiled, though something in her expression seemed hesitant. "Actually, there's something I've been wondering about." "What's that?" Sebastian asked, settling onto her sofa. Maya sat beside him, turning to face him directly. "Did you have anything to do with me getting the job at Lambert?" Sebastian froze momentarily, the wine glass halfway to his lips. He carefully set it down on the coffee table before answering. "Why do you ask?" "Because I'm not stupid, Sebastian," Maya said, her tone more curious than accusatory. "You know Thomas Lambert personally. You're part of that world, and suddenly I get offered a position at a higher salary than initially discussed. Right after meeting you, it seems convenient. Sebastian considered deflecting, but quickly decided against it. Their relationship had been built on honesty so far, and he didn't want to compromise that. "I may have mentioned meeting you to Thomas," Sebastian admitted, "but I didn't ask him to hire you or offer any incentives. I simply expressed that I thought you were talented. And coming from you, that carries weight," Maya concluded. "Probably," Sebastian acknowledged. "But Maya, I promise you got that job on your own merit. Thomas wouldn't hire someone unqualified, regardless of who recommended them. His reputation depends on the gallery's success." Maya was quiet for a moment, processing this information. "I believe you," she finally said. "But Sebastian, I need you to understand something. My career is incredibly important to me. I've worked hard to get where I am, and I need to know that any success I achieve is because of my talent and effort, not because of who I'm dating." "I understand completely," Sebastian assured her, taking her hand. "And I promise I won't interfere with your career again without discussing it with you first. It was wrong of me to say anything to Thomas without your knowledge, even if my intentions were good." Maya squeezed his hand, her expression softening. "Thank you for being honest with me, and for understanding." "Always," Sebastian promised, "meaning it completely. Your independence is one of the things I admire most about you." The tension dissolved, and they spent the evening cooking dinner together in Maya's tiny kitchen, laughing as they bumped into each other in the limited space. Later, tangled in Maya's sheets, Sebastian realized he had never felt so comfortable, so at ease with another person. The revelation was both thrilling and terrifying. As weeks turned into months, Sebastian and Maya's relationship deepened. They developed routines and inside jokes, learned each other's habits and quirks, and gradually built a shared life between their two very different worlds. Sebastian introduced Maya to his closest friends, including his college roommate Michael and Michael's wife Jen, who immediately took to Maya's straightforward nature and creative perspective. Maya, in turn, introduced Sebastian to her small but tight-knit circle, her best friend Layla, who subjected Sebastian to a good-natured but thorough interrogation, her former colleague Pedro, who shared Sebastian's passion for classic films, and her elderly neighbor Mrs. Castel, who had become like family to Maya since she moved to New York. Through it all, they navigated the occasional challenges that arose from their different backgrounds and lifestyles. Maya sometimes felt overwhelmed by the wealthy social circles Sebastian moved in, while Sebastian occasionally struggled to understand Maya's fierce independence and reluctance to accept his generosity. But they always managed to find middle ground, their commitment to understanding each other stronger than any differences. 6 months into their relationship, Sebastian was preparing for an important business trip to Tokyo, a 2-week journey that would be their longest separation since they had started dating. "I wish you could come with me," Sebastian said, as they had dinner at his apartment the night before his departure. "So do I," Maya replied wistfully. "But this exhibition is crucial, and I need to be here for the final preparations." The exhibition she was curating had grown in scope and importance, now featuring several promising artists and attracting attention from collectors and critics alike. It was a significant opportunity for Maya to establish herself in the gallery world, and Sebastian was immensely proud of her accomplishment. "I understand," Sebastian assured her. "And I'll be back in time for the opening night." "You'd better be," Maya warned with a smile. "I need my handsome arm candy to impress the art critics." Sebastian laughed. "Is that all I am to you? A pretty face?" "Well, that and your wallet," Maya teased, her eyes sparkling with humor. This had become a running joke between them, Maya pretending to be a gold digger and Sebastian playing along. In reality, Maya remained almost stubbornly independent, insisting on paying her own way whenever possible, and accepting Sebastian's more lavish gifts only on special occasions. As they cleared the dinner dishes together, a domestic task Sebastian had never engaged in before, he felt a sudden certainty wash over him. This was what he wanted, not just for now, but for always. Maya's laughter in his kitchen, her artwork brightening his walls, her perspective challenging his thinking, and her warmth beside him each night. "Move in with me," Sebastian said abruptly, the words tumbling out before he could second-guess himself. Maya paused, a plate half-dried in her hands. "What?" "Move in with me," Sebastian repeated, more deliberately this time. "When I get back from Tokyo, We practically live together already. You spend most nights here, and half your clothes are in my closet. Maya set down the plate carefully. Sebastian, your place is beautiful, but it's yours. I'm not sure I'd feel right living here. Then we'll find a new place, Sebastian suggested readily. Somewhere that would be ours from the beginning. Or we could renovate this apartment, change anything you don't like. I want to come home to you every day, Maya. Maya's expression softened at his words, but she still hesitated. Can I think about it? This is a big step, and I don't want to rush into anything. Of course, Sebastian agreed, trying to hide his disappointment. He had hoped for an immediate yes, but respected her need for time. Take all the time you need. Maya kissed him gently. Thank you for understanding. And just so you know, it's not a no. It's a, let me process this. The next morning, Sebastian left for Tokyo with Maya's kiss still warm on his lips, and the question of their future hanging between them. During his trip, they spoke daily despite the time difference, with Maya sending him updates about the exhibition preparations, and Sebastian sharing glimpses of Tokyo's vibrant business and art scenes. Maya used the 2 weeks to seriously consider Sebastian's proposal. She loved him, there was no doubt about that. And practically speaking, living together made sense. But something held her back, a nagging fear she couldn't quite articulate until a heart-to-heart conversation with Layla forced her to confront it. You're afraid of losing yourself, Layla observed as they shared a bottle of wine in Maya's apartment. Of becoming just Sebastian Walker's girlfriend instead of Maya Anderson, artist and curator. That's part of it, Maya admitted. His world is so consuming. Sometimes I worry that if I fully step into it, my own path will get swallowed up. Has Sebastian ever asked you to change or give up your career? Layla challenged gently. No, Maya acknowledged. He's been incredibly supportive, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't happen naturally over time. Layla took a thoughtful sip of her wine. Maybe instead of focusing on what you might lose, think about what you both could gain. Relationships involve compromise. But they also create something new, something neither of you could build alone. Maya considered her friend's words carefully, recognizing the wisdom in them. By the time Sebastian's return date approached, she had made her decision. The night Sebastian came home from Tokyo, Maya was waiting in his apartment, having used the key he had given her months ago. She had prepared a simple dinner and set the table with candles, feeling both nervous and excited about the conversation to come. When Sebastian walked through the door, his face lit up at the sight of her. He dropped his bags immediately, crossing the room in long strides to wrap her in a tight embrace. I missed you so much, he murmured into her hair, breathing in her familiar scent. I missed you too, Maya replied, holding him just as tightly. How was the flight? Long, Sebastian answered, finally releasing her enough to look at her face. But worth it to come home to you. They settled into dinner, Sebastian sharing stories from his trip, and Maya updating him on the exhibition's final details. It was familiar and comfortable, but beneath the casual conversation, Maya could sense Sebastian's unasked question lingering in the air. Finally, as they finished their meal, Maya took a deep breath. I've been thinking about your offer about moving in together. Sebastian set down his fork, giving her his full attention. And? I want to, Maya said, her eyes meeting his. But I have some conditions. Relief and joy flooded Sebastian's face. Name them. First, I want us to find a new place together, something that's ours, not just yours that I'm moving into, Maya began. Second, I want to contribute financially. I know I can't match what you can afford, but I need to pay my fair share, proportionate to my income. Sebastian started to protest, but Maya held up her hand. This is important to me, Sebastian. I need to maintain my independence. All right, Sebastian conceded. What else? I need space for my work, a real studio, where I can create without worrying about making a mess, Maya continued. And finally, I need your promise that we'll always communicate openly about any issues that come up. No making decisions for me because you think it's what's best. Sebastian took her hand across the table. I promise all of that and more. I want you to be happy, Maya. That's what matters most to me. Then yes, Maya said, a smile spreading across her face. Let's do this. Let's build a home together. Sebastian's answering smile was radiant. He stood, pulling Maya to her feet and into his arms. "I love you, Maya Anderson." "I love you too, Sebastian Walker," Maya replied, rising on her toes to kiss him. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. By day, Maya focused on the final preparations for her exhibition, while Sebastian returned to his role at Walker Innovations. In their free time, they searched for their perfect home, eventually finding a spacious loft in a converted factory building that offered the perfect blend of character and luxury. The loft featured soaring ceilings, original brick walls, and massive windows that flooded the space with natural light, ideal for Maya's artistic needs. One section could easily be converted into a studio, and the open floor plans suited their lifestyle perfectly. It was significantly more expensive than what Maya could afford on her own, but still modest, by Sebastian's standards, a compromise they both felt good about. As they planned renovations and discussed furniture arrangements, Maya found herself unexpectedly emotional. This tangible symbol of their commitment represented a level of permanence she hadn't allowed herself to imagine before Sebastian. The night of Maya's exhibition opening arrived just as they were finalizing the purchase of their new home. The gallery was packed with artists, collectors, critics, and friends. Maya, elegant in a simple black dress with her signature emerald blouse as a wrap, moved confidently through the crowd, discussing the works and introducing the artists she had selected. Sebastian watched her with undisguised pride, hanging back to allow her the professional spotlight she deserved. Throughout the evening, he observed how naturally she commanded the room, her passion for the art and artists evident in every interaction. "She's quite remarkable," a voice said beside him. Sebastian turned to find Thomas Lambert, the gallery owner, sipping champagne and also watching Maya. "She is," Sebastian agreed. "I must thank you," Thomas continued. "When you mentioned her all those months ago, I expected talent, but she's exceeded every expectation. The gallery has received more press for this exhibition than our last three combined." Sebastian smiled. "I had nothing to do with that. It's all Maya." "Indeed," Thomas nodded. "I'm promoting her to full curator with her own dedicated exhibition space starting next month. She doesn't know yet. I'll tell her tomorrow." "She'll be thrilled," Sebastian said, genuinely happy for Maya's success. "Keep her happy, Sebastian," Thomas advised, his tone becoming more personal. "Talents like hers are rare, but people who can maintain that level of passion and integrity in this industry are even rarer." "I intend to," Sebastian promised. Later that night, as the event wound down and the last guests departed, Sebastian found Maya in a quiet corner of the gallery, examining one of the smaller pieces with a satisfied smile. "Congratulations," he said, offering her a fresh glass of champagne. "The exhibition is a tremendous success." "Thank you," Maya replied, her eyes bright with accomplishment. "I can't believe how well it went. 3 of the artists already sold multiple pieces, and the reviews are rolling in. They're positive so far." "Of course they are," Sebastian said confidently. "You have an extraordinary eye, Maya. Everyone can see that." Maya took a sip of champagne, then set her glass down and wrapped her arms around Sebastian's waist. "Thank you for your support, not just tonight, but throughout this whole process. It means everything to me." Sebastian held her close. "Always," he promised. "Now, should we head home to celebrate privately?" Maya smiled up at him, her eyes reflecting the same love Sebastian felt in his own heart. "Home," she repeated. "I like the sound of that." 2 months later, Maya and Sebastian moved into their newly renovated loft. The space perfectly balanced their different styles and needs. Sebastian's preference for clean lines and modern functionality, complemented by Maya's love of texture, color, and personal touches. The large studio area they had created for Maya quickly became filled with works in progress, while Sebastian's home office offered him the quiet space he needed for focused work. Living together brought new challenges and deeper intimacy. They learned each other's daily rhythms, developed shared routines, and occasionally clashed over differences in habits and expectations. Sebastian's tendency toward perfectionism sometimes frustrated Maya, while her creative chaos occasionally tested his patience. But each disagreement ultimately brought them closer as they learned to compromise and appreciate their differences. Maya's career continued to flourish under her new role as curator. She established a reputation for discovering exceptional emerging talent, and her dedicated exhibition space became known for showcasing some of the most innovative new works in the city. Sebastian, meanwhile, expanded Walker innovations into new markets, but also made a conscious effort to maintain work-life balance, prioritizing his relationship with Maya over unnecessary business commitments. On their one-year anniversary, Sebastian surprised Maya with a trip to the very café where they had first met, or, rather, where he had first noticed her laughing with a stranger. He had arranged for the entire café to be closed to the public, decorated with Maya's favorite flowers, and staffed by a private chef who recreated their favorite meals from their year together. "This is incredible," Maya said, as they sat at what had become their table by the window. "But you do realize this level of romantic gesture sets a dangerous precedent for future anniversaries, right?" Sebastian laughed. "I'll take my chances." As they finished their meal, Sebastian reached across the table to take Maya's hand. "I've been thinking about the day we met, or rather, the day I finally spoke to you." "Finally?" Maya questioned, raising an eyebrow. Sebastian looked slightly embarrassed. "I may have been coming to this cafe every morning for a week before that, just to see you. I was captivated by your laugh the first time I heard it." "Wait," Maya said, her eyes widening. "You were stalking me?" "Admiring from afar," Sebastian corrected with a grin. "I kept trying to find the courage to approach you, but I didn't want to be just another guy hitting on a woman in a cafe. Then fate intervened with your coffee spill." Maya shook her head, amused rather than disturbed by this revelation. "So, all this time, our chance meeting wasn't so chance after all?" "The coffee spill was genuine," Sebastian insisted. "I just happened to be there, ready to help." "My knight in an expensive suit," Maya teased. Sebastian's expression became more serious. "That day changed my life, Maya. Before you, I was successful but incomplete. You brought color and laughter and purpose into my world." He stood from his chair and, to Maya's shock, knelt beside her table. "I had a whole speech prepared, but suddenly all I want to say is this. I love you, Maya Anderson. You challenge me, inspire me, and make me happier than I ever thought possible. Will you marry me?" From his pocket, Sebastian produced a small velvet box, opening it to reveal a ring that perfectly reflected Maya's taste, a vintage emerald surrounded by small diamonds in an Art Deco setting. Maya's hands flew to her mouth, tears springing to her eyes. She had suspected a proposal might come eventually, but the timing and setting had caught her completely by surprise. "Sebastian," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "the ring is beautiful." "Is that a yes?" Sebastian asked, a hint of vulnerability in his eyes. Maya laughed through her tears. "Yes, of course it's a yes." Sebastian slipped the ring onto her finger, then pulled her into a kiss that conveyed all the love and promise of their future together. When they finally broke apart, both breathless and smiling, Maya rested her forehead against his. "I should warn you," she said softly. "I'm probably going to spill something on my wedding dress." Sebastian laughed. "I wouldn't have it any other way." They were married 6 months later, in a ceremony that balanced elegance with intimacy, held in a small art gallery, with only their closest friends and family in attendance. Maya wore a simple ivory gown she had designed herself, accented with emerald green accessories that had become her signature color since the day Sebastian helped her replace her coffee-stained blouse. True to her prediction, Maya did spill champagne on her dress during the reception, but it only made the moment more authentic, more them. As they danced to their first song as husband and wife, Sebastian whispered in her ear, "Thank you for laughing with that stranger in the cafe that day." Maya smiled up at him. "Thank you for loving my smile before I even knew you existed." In the years that followed, Sebastian and Maya built a life that harmonized their individual strengths and passions. Maya's curatorial career expanded to include an art consulting business that helped corporations, including Walker Innovations, build meaningful collections that supported emerging artists. Sebastian's company continued to thrive, but he maintained the work-life balance that allowed him to be fully present in their marriage. They traveled extensively, with Sebastian discovering new perspectives through Maya's artistic eye, and Maya experiencing parts of the world she had only dreamed of visiting before. They renovated a countryside home where they spent peaceful weekends away from the city's pace, and where Maya created her own artwork with renewed inspiration. 3 years into their marriage, they welcomed their daughter, Lily, whose arrival transformed their lives once again. Sebastian proved to be an attentive and devoted father, while Maya balanced motherhood with her creative pursuits, often working with Lily playing nearby in her studio. Through it all, the challenges of parenthood, career evolutions, family dynamics, and the inevitable difficulties that arise in any marriage, they remained each other's steadfast supporters and most honest critics. Their foundation, built on that chance, or not so chance, meeting in a cafe, provided the strength they needed to weather life's storms together. On their 5th wedding anniversary, they returned once more to the cafe where it all began. The establishment had changed hands and been renovated, but their table by the window remained. As they sat together, watching Lily charm the waitstaff with her precocious conversation and infectious laugh so like her mother's, Sebastian took Maya's hand across the table. "Any regrets?" he asked, half joking, but with a hint of genuine curiosity. Maya looked around at the cafe, then at their beautiful daughter, and finally at her husband's face, still as handsome as the day they met, but now beloved and familiar in a way that went beyond physical attraction. "Just one," she replied seriously. Sebastian raised an eyebrow in question. Maya's face broke into the smile that had first captured his heart. "I wish I'd spilled my coffee sooner,"